So today I'm going to give a little review on these Daler Rowney FW inks. They are acrylic inks and they are water resistant when dry. They come in 29.5mm bottles and they're really nice bottles actually. They've got a little dropper here and it's a glass pipette inside, and that's really lovely. So you can use it to apply the inks directly to the page with the dropper or into a palette for mixing, or you can put the dropper part to one side and just dip your brush in. So this little review is from a beginner's perspective because I've never used these before. Sometimes when you watch someone that's really comfortable and experienced, you don't always see the pitfalls. So I do hope that some of this video will be useful to you and also help you decide if you want to invest in some yourself. Now they cost about £6.80 a bottle. You can buy them in larger sets, which probably gives you a bit of a discount. I spent about £30, well over £30 on my 5 bottles of ink. I got 2 of their standard ones in dark green and purple lake, and then I picked up 3 of the pearlescent ones as well. So my first impressions of these Daler Rowney inks, well, they felt a lot thicker than the traditional Winsor & Newton drawing inks that I'm used to using. And my first experiments using them, I tried to do the ink diffusion technique. Now all you need to do with this is wet your page and put a few little drops of ink on, and the ink diffuses out into the water, a little bit like watercolour, and it gives really lovely results. So I tried this with various different amounts of water on the page, and the ink really didn't spread out at all. It kind of just gave me a bullet shape, and I just used it directly from the bottle, and I tried to manipulate it with more water, but I just got paper buckling, and yeah, I really wasn't very happy with it. I really wasn't enjoying them at all. These are a lot thicker than traditional inks. When you brush them along the page, they really just kind of, the darker bits just stay together, and yeah, I really just wasn't getting the flow of these. They're just a lot thicker. They're not like water. I would say they're more like the consistency of a thin gravy. Yeah, a thin gravy really. Not a watery gravy, but not a stodgy thick gravy. Feeling a bit disillusioned with these inks, I tried using them in a splattering technique, and again I just felt the colours were really too dark. So then I tried using them on my Zentangle drawings, and I just used them straight from the bottle, and I found it really difficult to spread it out. I wasn't getting any real solid colour, but you know, maybe these inks just aren't meant for solid colour and aren't really intended for the sort of work that I do. It took me a lot of brushing and rebrushing to get an effect to what I was hoping for, but it took so much work. I think I said they were like gravy just now, but I'm thinking now that maybe they're a bit more like a runny honey. So it is quite easy to control where the ink is going using your brush, but I just don't like the fact that I wasn't getting, I was just getting an ugly colour, an ugly mess of colour. So as you can see on this drawing, my leaves are very different shades of green depending on how much ink I was applying. And I did try more ink in an attempt to get a more consistent colour, but it was just too dark. So eventually I diluted these with some water, and I added a few drops from a pipette, and what I found was when they're diluted, they're a lot more like using a regular drawing ink or a watercolour paint. I was very much getting a watercolour effect, that's for sure. And I very much prefer using these colours diluted. It applies like watercolour paint, and you know, by adding more ink you can darken the areas. It's a nicer effect than watercolour paint, but it just wasn't the effect that I was hoping for. So yeah, overall, as much as I really wanted to love these Daler Rowney inks, I just haven't got on with them. Except the Pearlescent inks. I love the Pearlescent inks. I've used them directly onto the paper. And they have such a delicate little shimmer. The Pearlescent inks are just absolutely beautiful. And you can also dilute them with water as well. That worked very well too. If you're using them neat over large areas, I did find that the purple one wasn't as great. It was getting quite patchy and uneven in areas, and I wasn't getting that with the blue one. So I looked up some tutorials on how to use this ink, and I didn't find an awful lot. It looks like a lot of people use them for very fluid, like sketchy, urban sketching style drawing. That's not me at all. That might be why I didn't get on with them. But I do like having some messy time. So, you know, I was really hoping that I could find a good use for these inks by having a bit of messy time. So I have played around using these inks with isopropanol. I have also tried using these inks using a spray bottle of water. I've tried these Daler Rowney inks on a variety of different papers as well. I've tried them on cartridge paper, I've tried them on watercolour paper, and I've tried them on mixed media paper. Hasn't really made any difference to my results. I have had a bit of fun with the mopping up bits of tissue paper though. They've been great fun, and at some point when I've finished the actual drawings, I will put those together as some art practice videos to put up on a Sunday. Just for a bit of fun, just because they were just so much fun to do. But I don't think I'll be buying any more of these standard set colours. I've done a lot of experiments with the green and a fair few with the purple, the reddy purple one as well, and I've got loads and loads left. So economically, I think they're very good value for money. But maybe if you are a very good watercolour artist, or you're very good with your free-flowing, beautiful, just going to brush a few lines down on the page and you manage to create a beautiful picture type person, then these might work very well for you. But yeah, I think for me, neat, they are too dark for me. For my drawings, I like to have very, very vibrant colours, and these just, although they're vibrant, they're too thick, they're too dark, and I can't seem to get the right consistency for what I want them to do. So if you're an expert with these Daler Rowney FW inks, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to know if there's a better way to use them, or if there's any other different techniques that I can try. The Pearlescent inks, I love them very much. The purple is my least favourite, only because it seems to give a bit of a tonal effect, which the other two don't really do. The gold one I haven't really used very much, but it's very, very subtle. It gives such a gentle shimmer, and I'm quite sure that you'll see me using it on several pictures in the future. So thank you for joining me. I hope this has been a little bit useful. Yeah, and do let me know if you love these, and tell me why. Tell me why, because I must be missing something.